Hey Toolkit Bestie! We're so glad you could join us for this back-to-school crash course for returning subscribers. I'm Risa from the Customer Happiness team, and today we'll be going over some tips for tidying up your caseload, reviewing helpful reports for caseload management, setting up a schedule, and lesson planning. I'll also share a couple of tips and resources that will hopefully help you save some time this school year. As we go through, feel free to log into your SLP Toolkit account to follow along. At the end of this course, we'll also be sharing some awesome freebie materials with you to help you start your new school year off right. But before we get started, we'd also love to hear from you. So when you get the chance, please share your favorite SLP Toolkit feature in the chat or comments below. Now let's go ahead and get started. Let's start by tidying up our caseload for the new school year. First, scan through your students listed here to identify anyone who has moved off of your current caseload. You can archive these students so that they no longer appear on your active caseload list. To archive a student, check the box next to their name, click the Actions button at the top of the page, and select Archive Student. If you need to access an archived student's information later on, you can easily restore them back to your active caseload list by clicking Show Archive Students from the drop-down. Then select the student you want to restore, click the Actions button once more, and select Restore Students. You can also transfer a student to another Toolkit user within your district instead by selecting your student and then clicking the Transfer Students option from the drop-down. Please just note that currently, when you transfer a student, their daily data does not transfer. If the receiving SLP needs this information, we recommend going to the Reports tab and downloading a data report for that student, such as the data sorted by date or data sorted by goal report. You may also find it helpful to download an attendance report for your student as well. You can then send these reports to the receiving SLP for their review. After that, you can transfer the student directly to them. After archiving or transferring students who are no longer on your caseload, you can go through and update your students' grade levels. Easily sort your students by grade level by clicking the grade header, which lists grades in ascending order so that you can quickly update this information. Next, check with your school registrar to see if they know of any incoming students with an IEP. If there are other therapists at your school, you can also talk with them on how you'll divide up the caseload. For new students requiring speech services, add them to your caseload by clicking Add Student and entering their first and last name. You can also get the class list from your school registrar to update your caseload's teacher information, including names and room numbers. For secondary SLPs, it's also helpful to get your students' class schedules. You can then identify elective or class periods when your students are available for speech services and create a tag for these periods within the Tags column. For example, if a student is available during first period, I could create a tag for them with this label. This will be really helpful later on when you are creating your schedule. Finally, go through your IEP and eval due date columns and double check that they are all up to date. Within the Reports tab, we have some awesome resources that you can utilize at the beginning of the school year. The first report is the IEP Met Dates report, which shows your students' upcoming IEP and eval due dates for the school year. To run this report, select all students on your caseload, and then customize your time frame to the dates of your school year. Now, you can print out this report and place it on your desk or somewhere close so that you can look ahead and start prepping for those students who have IEPs and evals due soon. Another useful report is the IEP at a Glance report, which gives you all of the key details of a student's IEP, such as the goals they are working on, as well as their service times. This report can be great to hand out to your students' teachers so that way they have a copy of this information. The last report I want to highlight for now is the Teacher's Preferred Times report, which is a super helpful resource when scheduling your students. Before running this report, you'll first want to make sure that you have updated your students' teachers within the Caseload tab. Then, simply click on the report name, select all of your teachers here, and the system will automatically generate a list of students who receive speech services in each teacher's class. It will also prompt the teacher to provide 3 time slots when these students are available to be pulled for speech. You can print this report and hand it out to your teachers, or copy its content and paste it into an email to send directly to them. Now let's dive into creating a schedule for the new school year. If you already have a schedule that you created last year, an easy way to get started is by simply making a copy of that existing schedule. You can do this by clicking on the drop-down to the right of your schedule name and selecting Copy. Then, click on the schedule name and select Actions, Edit Calendar Details to adjust your schedule's information for the new school year. You can start off by creating a name for your new schedule, then adjust the start and end dates to match the new school year. You might also want to uncheck any weeks you won't be seeing students, such as during winter or spring break, and then save those changes. One advantage of copying your schedule is that it includes all your students' time blocks from last year, so you won't need to re-enter them. For any new students added to your caseload, you can add their service times by selecting their name from the Students tab and clicking the blue plus sign next to service times. Now, you can remove your students' session times from last year by clicking the Actions button and selecting Remove All Students. This will move all those students' service times to the Service Times tab. You can then begin adding your students' sessions to this year's schedule by filtering them based on their availability for speech. For your elementary school students, you may find it helpful to filter students either by grade or teacher. For example, maybe I know that all of my first grade students are available to be seen on Mondays and Wednesdays at 9 a.m. I can first filter my students by their grade level. Then I can go ahead and highlight those time periods that they're available on my schedule. Now I'll click the Schedule button, and those students will automatically be added during that time frame. You can also manually move students around by dragging their time blocks to the appropriate spot. So for example, if I know that 2 of my students work really well together, I can go ahead and move them to the same group. For secondary students, you can filter them based on those additional tags you created for the elective or class period when they're available. For example, I can filter students that are able to be seen for speech during first period. Then I can highlight that time on my schedule and those students are added there. If you have a special schedule type, such as a schedule with rotating A/B days, we have several helpful articles in the scheduling section of our knowledge base that will guide you through setting up these different schedule types within your SLP Toolkit account. You can access our knowledge base at any time by clicking on the question mark icon in the top corner of your screen. Then, click on the Help icon at the bottom and navigate to the Scheduling section. There, you'll find tutorials with more details on creating an A/B block schedule, as well as other schedule types such as a 3-1 service model or schedules with alternating weeks. Once you have created your schedule, you may also find it helpful to export it into your Google Calendar or iCal for easy access to your upcoming session events. To do this, click on the Actions button and select Export Calendar. A file will download to your computer, which you can then add to Google Calendar, iCal, or Outlook. Now let's add this file to our Google Calendar. Before doing so, I would highly recommend creating a separate Google Calendar specifically for your therapy events. This way, if you need to make any adjustments to your speech schedule throughout the school year, you can easily delete this calendar and re-import your new schedule, rather than trying to remove outdated therapy events from your personal calendar. To create a new calendar, click on the plus sign next to Other Calendars and select Create New Calendar. Then give your calendar a name and click Create Calendar. Now click Import and Export on the left side of your screen. Then select the ICS file from SLP Toolkit that you downloaded to your device. Under Add to Calendar, you'll want to make sure that you're adding the schedule to the new speech calendar you created. Once these events have been added to your calendar, you can set up notifications so that you can get reminders of your upcoming events. To do so, click on the setting icon, then scroll down to the speech calendar you created. Using the panel on the left side, select Event Notifications and click Add Notifications. You can then choose to receive an alert about your event and customize how many minutes in advance you'd like to receive it. For example, I may want to choose to receive a notification about an upcoming session 5 minutes before the event. You can also add teachers to the event so that they can be notified about it as well. To do so, click the pencil icon on your event and add your teacher's email to the guest list. After you've created your schedule, head over to the Reports tab to download the Teacher-Student Schedule Report. This report is an awesome resource for informing teachers about when you will be seeing students in their class. It automatically lists all of the students within a specific teacher's class as well as the days and times you will be seeing those students for speech. Just note that if you do have any old schedules listed within the Daily Data tab, you'll want to archive those schedules so that only the most current scheduling information is listed on this report. To archive an old schedule, head to the Daily Data tab, click on the drop-down arrow to the right of the schedule name, and select Archive. This report should now be all up to date. You can now print a copy of the student schedule report to hand out to your teachers, or copy the content of this report and paste this information into an email to send directly to them. Now let's explore our built-in literacy-based lesson plans that you can use this school year. To access them, click on Add a New Plan, and then select Choose from Template. A list of over 100 lesson plans will appear on the left side of your screen. You can use the search bar to find a specific book title or article, or search by category or goal area. There are some great lesson plans for back to school, such as How I Spent My Summer Vacation. It's for kindergarten through 6th grade students, so it covers a lot of different ages. Each plan is broken down into steps that target a variety of skills such as articulation, grammar, and comprehension. In the very first step of every lesson plan, you'll see a link to the book on YouTube. At the end of the plan, you'll find expansion activities and additional resources that you can use with your students. Once you find a plan you want to use, click Use this plan. The lesson plan will then open and save to your personal lesson plan library. We also have a lot of free lesson plans created by other Toolkit besties within our freebie library. We will be sharing a link to the freebie library at the end of the course, but you can also easily access it from the Toolkit Treasures article available in our knowledge base. Let's access the knowledge base once more by clicking on the question mark icon in the upper right-hand corner of your account, and then selecting the Help button. Now type in Toolkit Treasures in the search bar. Within this article, you can find several different free resources that I would highly recommend checking out whenever you get the chance. For now, let's click on the freebie library link. You'll be taken to a resource that contains custom lesson plans and assessments created by the SLP Toolkit community. Click on Lesson Plans, and here you'll find a list of plans that you can upload directly into your Toolkit account. Once you find a plan you're interested in using, you can click on the name for a PDF preview of the file, or you can download the file to your device so that you can import it into your account. Let's go over how to import one of these lesson plans into your account. First, click on the Download button to save the file to your device. Please just note that these lesson plan files are in a special TKJP format and can only be opened within your SLP Toolkit account, so you won't be able to preview the file outside of the program. Next, go to the Plan tab within your account, click Add a New Plan, and select Upload a Plan. Choose the lesson plan file you downloaded to your device and click Import. This plan will now be added to your plan library, ready for you to use at any time. let's go over a few tips that will hopefully help you save some time this upcoming school year. The first tip is to set up recurring email reminders for teachers to notify them of students' upcoming therapy sessions. You can easily set up these reminders using a browser extension on your device, such as Boomerang for Gmail. To get started, visit the Chrome Web Store and add the Boomerang extension to your browser for free. Once installed, you'll see this bar displayed at the bottom of your email with an option to send later, which is going to allow you to send a recurring email at a specified time each week to your teachers. So let's say I want to send my teacher an email reminder each Monday that Charlie Brown will be seen for speech at 2:30. I would go ahead and type up my email to my teacher. Then I'll click the Send Later option and select Schedule Recurring Message. I can now choose when I would like to start sending this message, how often I'd like it to be sent, the day it needs to be sent, as well as when I would like this message to stop being sent. I can then click Schedule, and my teacher will automatically receive this same email reminder each week. This extension also allows you to set up email reminders for yourself after you've sent an email. For instance, when you're asking teachers for the times students in their class are available for speech, you might ask that they get back to you by a certain date. So I may send an email to my teacher on a Monday and request that they get back to me by Friday. I can then use the Remind Me feature to have the email reappear in my inbox at a specified time. I'll set this email to pop back up on Friday, so if I haven't heard back by then, I'll automatically be reminded to follow up. The other tip I wanted to go over is utilizing a text expander. If you find yourself typing out the same phrases or sentences over and over again, a text expander is a great resource you can use to help save you some time. There are a lot of great text expanders you can use on your device. One I tend to use is called Magical, which again can be accessed by visiting the Chrome Web Store and is free to download to your Chrome browser. Once you have downloaded it to your browser, you can click on the extension and it will allow you to add templates for your commonly used phrases. For example, when I'm taking subjective data, maybe I find myself often repeating the phrase that a student was engaged and participated in all therapy activities. I can go ahead and click Create Template. Then I'll type out my phrase here. Now I'll create a shortcut that will trigger this phrase to populate. The shortcut can be whatever makes the most sense to you. I would just recommend using some type of symbol in front of the letters or words you use, so this way this phrase will only be triggered when you use that specific shortcut. For this shortcut, I'm going to use a semicolon symbol and then type the word engaged. Now when I go to write my subjective notes for this student, all I have to do is type in their name and my shortcut, semicolon engaged, and that phrase will automatically populate. We know that as SLPs you already have so much on your plate, so we hope these extensions can help save you some time and help you stay organized by taking a couple items off your to-do list. Thank you so much for joining us for our Back to School workshop. As a thank you, we wanted to share a few free resources we created to hopefully help ease you back into the new school year. To access these resources, copy and paste this link provided on the slide. You'll then be taken to this infographic. First, you'll see a link to the Back to School freebies. Here, you'll find a few different resources. There's a Back to School checklist that you can use to help keep you organized as you start up the new school year. It covers most everything we went over today, as well as a few additional items at the bottom. We've also thrown in an end-of-the-year checklist that you can hold on to and use as you are wrapping things up for the year. You'll find a teacher input Google form as well. This is a super helpful resource that you can send out to your teachers to quickly gather information about a student when drafting their IEP. And last but not least, we have this awesome no-prep back-to-school lesson plan that you can use with your students. It shares a set of classroom rules, speech goal cards that you can fill out with your students, and a few different getting-to-know-you activities for a variety of ages. On the second page, you'll also see instructions on how to import this lesson plan into your Toolkit account. Within this infographic, you'll also find a link to our knowledge base so that you can quickly find information and tutorials on the different features within the app. And below is a link that you can use to sign up for our live Q&A that we host each week. Lastly, we wanted to highlight the Bright Ideas Media website that offers a variety of courses that you can earn CEU credit for. Thank you again so much for taking the time to join us for this back-to-school workshop, and we hope that you have an awesome upcoming school year.